All right, so here we are on State of Mind, and here's the thing. This is the first time in State of Mind. 100, how many shows have I done? About 120 that I've done two people, and so this is kind of a special one for me. I had an idea after watching Tristan Rogers, who plays Scorpio on the General Hospital. He didn't talk much about mental health, so I thought, why don't I have people who paved the way on General Hospital, who are still on General Hospital, to come in and do like a General Hospital history and maybe talk a little bit about mental health, but mainly General Hospital. And who I have today is, Jackie ZEMAN, who I remember, this just came to me. 14 years old, being sick, I think with a pneumonia or flu, and seeing Jackie ZEMAN, seeing Ken. I wasn't that big on Ken, but Ken Schreider. But I know he was a big star, and I know Tony Gary and Jeannie Francis, and but Jackie, I just remember she was so like pretty with these big brown eyes, man, and a nurse, Um, and Ken played Scotty. uh, they just basically just paved the way, and that's the bottom line. So here they are. Without further ado, we have ladies first, Jackie ZEMAN and Kenny Schreiner.
No, there's no
Ken.
It's Ken.
Ken, you've been here
Yes,
already twice, so
Yes.
we don't have to introduce you, get to know you or that.
No.
But we are going to do a little bit.
Okay.
But Jackie, where are you from?
I'm from Bergenfield, New Jersey, born in Englewood, New Jersey, Englewood Hospital, because that's kind of the bigger town, and it's right outside of New York City. It's about 20 minutes from the George Washington Bridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had a wonderful upbringing in very suburban, beautiful Bergenfield, but always had access to New York and the Broadway shows and, great drama department in our high school. And it was a
Is that what got you the bug bite from getting into acting, or?
Nobody in my family was ever
Me
involved in
too.
the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So I had no clue. But I did when I was a little girl. I went to public school, Franklin School, which was like literally walking distance, 3 blocks from my house. And we'd go home on our lunch hour, and I'd sit down, and my mother raised. I have two sisters, the three of us at home. She was an at-home mom.
No brothers, just two sisters.
Just two sisters. My only brother is Tony Gary, my TV brother. Take him as my own, and I love him to this day. And I'm probably closer to him than I would be to a real life brother.
That's amazing.
Emotionally,
Yeah,
because of
sure.
what we've shared.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd walk home from school on my lunch hour and sit down, and every day we'd watch a soap opera. Me, my sisters. So I grew up watching soaps, and in those days they were 15 minutes long. The longest one was a half an hour.
There was it live?
Probably live in those days. I mean, when I first started on One Life to Live, we were live on tape.
Wow.
We were live on tape. We had to give our cameras to the news, to the 5 o'clock news. We had done shooting at 5.
Ken, did you do live?
Yes. 45 minutes.
Wait a minute. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
You guys both did live? It was always live?
There was a stage manager standing because you had to finish on time, right?
Yeah.
This meant speed it up.
Right.
This meant stretch it out.
Oh, no.
Day, and then they'd give you a 10 count fingers before you were out. 10, 9, 8. You had 6 seconds. Finish the scene. Whatever you got to do. Last line. Tag.
There's
That would have been perfect for you back in the day. They stretch it out.
yes,
Stretch it out. Good.
Yeah.
but I would have been. It's too nerve-wracking.
It was crazy.
But that's good for skills.
We would change our clothes, wardrobe changes on set. You had a 2-minute commercial break. You had to change your clothes in 2 minutes. And
Oh
hey,
man.
sometimes you had 3, 4 wardrobe changes in one show. It was different, than it is now. And literally, we would joke about it. Was true. They'd always change your top half first, because if they didn't have to get time to change the bottom, they'd shoot you tight.
Are you
Yeah, man.
There you go, Maurice.
2-minute commercial break.
Look.
Hey,
Okay, wait.
pulling
History
your clothes
lesson in
off.
soap operas.
But wait a minute. How long did you guys do this? Like, Ken, how long were you doing it for a year, 2?
We went for
Whole time.
we started 2
No.
to 2:42. It was a 45-minute show, General Hospital back then, and it was
Yeah, we split 45 with who? Or was it?
no, it wasn't
One
until-
Life to Live. We split an hour and a half, a 90-minute block with One Life to Live.
I thought when Gloria came on, she changed it, or she got the extra 15 minutes back,
She did. She bumped it to an hour then.
yeah. But for the first year,
1 year you did live shows.
I think it was there was before Gloria had come on the show, there was a producer named Tom Donovan. And it was
That's
just Jeannie and I there, and and the other actors that were. Jackie hadn't come on yet.
Yeah, you
So-
were on like 6 months before me, right?
So maybe okay. So I was there for 6 months of it being live, because once Jackie and we flipped over to the Desilu studio, a different studio, then it all changed, and Gloria Monty decided that this could be done a different way, and that's when soap
wow.
operas just changed. It was like they're not getting canceled. They could have been canceled.
She decided
She
it to
decided
change
we're
from
gonna-
live to
Yeah, she said we're going a different way with this. We're going to edit. We're going to change it. We're going to go outside. We're going to do and we're going to go all young, because it was time to. She was given an edict that this show is off the air unless you can change the ratings, and she jumped them. It's documented, almost 15 Nielsen points in 1 year.
And we were in the I Love Lucy studio.
I was just gonna say, Desi.
Every I Love Lucy show. But the buildings were on separate, like you had to run through the rain to get from where the makeup room was, dressing rooms, Gloria's office, and the stage were all separate buildings. So
They also did Gomer Pyle there too.
yeah.
But Desi Arnaz.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ken. I played him. so-
I know you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but he invented 3 cameras.
Oh, see, that makes sense.
He invented the 3. If it
No,
was
he did, and he did it because nobody said how the hell are you going to, but it was still a weird process, to the idea that they're filmed all 3 of them at the same time. Then they had to cut them together like they do now. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, not even now.
yeah.
Now they edit it. The editing on General Hospital now is completely different than it was 10 years ago.
But when we were live on tape,
No,
it was all tally lights. Tally lights on the camera. We learned to work with tally lights. No light, no talk.
wow.
The boom, how to get to you. The boom isn't there. Wait, hold your line until the boom is there. Now, certain actors, Chris Robinson came on GH and he used to talk about this loud, and I'd say, "Why do you do that?" And he goes, "Because they got to push tighter. Makes my close up tighter."
Wow, that's
And
great.
he wanted to shoot him tighter. He would just bring it down to here, and they'd have to push in not to show the boom. So-
All right, let me just say this.
Yeah, but they also, Maurice, they also,
Yes, sir.
if you've got the red lights and you're acting to the red lights, if you were speaking and I'm waiting for you to finish, and I'm just kind of want the light on me now, I go, hang on. So they cut. So now I've got the light on me. So now I've just interrupted your speech, and now they're on me. So now I get to do my monologue. See, so people could be camera hogs back then too.
Yeah, it was different.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of tricks that actors did.
But we
Wh-
blocked our own scenes, remember?
Yes.
I'd come in the morning. There was no block, no director saying sit there on that line, pick up the coffee cup mug when you say this line, 2 tears out of the left eye when it's time to cry. We came in, it was like theater. They said, "Let me see what you got." We'd get up, we'd do our own blocking, and the directors would adjust the shots to what the actor wanted to do with regard to movement.
But let's get back into this thing of the voice. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I came in, I was on All My Children, and they would tell me to talk louder, don't put your hand in your face, why are you taking pauses, and I believe it fucked up my acting. Okay, so then I left All My Children to try to be a movie star, and that didn't work out. So But I did play Desi for a second. And then I met with General Hospital. I just said to Wendy Rich, I said, just never tell me to talk louder. And I said, let's do this. I'll do 6 months, get out. And the first day I'm in the strip joint, and Joe Behar, we know Joe Behar, says, we can't hear you. And I went, nope, not going to do it. Did it again. We can't hear you. You know, he was a little tough, right, Jack? And I said, nope. And from that day on, I did not do it. And I don't know if you know, or if you know, I've broken furniture. They give me that note. I fought with producers just because that's what I wanted. I just wanted to bring that kind of naturalism. And I'm sure it drives the mic people crazy, but I'd have died on this live show. They'd have killed.
I wouldn't have worked. You would have worked there one day, and then.
But I can't imagine how. I mean, you talk loud. That's different. But how did you make it there, knowing your personality on live?
Because he's good at improv.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't really about improv. It was just we were all so young, and it was such a great way to even.
You liked it,
You
Ken?
could fill in the
Well,
blank.
I didn't.
You're funny. You're naturally funny.
Although you know what, Jeannie Francis, I did not know until like just recently, has a photographic memory. So when she learns her lines, she learns everybody's lines. So there was there was a big moment where they had put us in a storm shed, and they were going to get rid of the whole cast, and hurricanes going through the city, and I'm in there with Jeannie in this shed, and we're live, and it's, you know, and I say, now, Laura, remember your Tennyson, and I had to recite the Tennyson poem, and it went right out of my head. I said, now remember your Tennyson, and she knew I was. She just sat. She goes, "What you're saying, Scotty, is you mean the Tennyson poem about blah blah blah?" So she knew my line to say it.
And she said it?
She said it, and I said, "That's what I was talking about." Yeah, that part. So we just kind of improvised our way out of it, because you have to get out of a mess. If you're in a mess, you're like on a stage.
I just, I don't know.
Now you just say cut.
Yeah, but I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit, and I'll give it to you, for doing it live. I've done it live on this GH like twice. It's
different. Yeah.
It's
different pressure. What's
different. Yeah.
Theater. You get
but,
up there.
But theater, you have a lot of rehearsal, Jackie.
That's true.
So you're in the rehearsal. Let's rehearse for 2 weeks before it goes, and you go. I mean, that's amazing. You know what? I didn't know you guys did this. I knew there was a live, but I didn't know you guys did it. And that's, to me, fascinating as an actor who's scared like crazy of live.
Yeah, but it brings up the other thing that if it's live, there's also teleprompters. So then that's another whole form of acting.
But
there was a lot of actors that didn't learn line one, and they did all of their acting off the teleprompter.
Some did.
So
Yeah,
you're doing a scene with somebody, and they're looking over your shoulder. And you're like, what the fuck are they looking at? They're not acting with me. They're reading. So that's another, with live, not all actors, we're just.
We always knew our lines.
We know our lines, but a lot of people that have done it, veterans, would just come in and read the teleprompters. Are you telling me? Is that what you're saying to me, Bobby?
Gerald Gordon used to do
Yes,
it,
Gerald
right?
Gordon.
Yeah,
They used to stand, a teleprompter actor would stand right like this, and he'd read both prompters. He'd have them both.
Because there'd be one there, there'd be one there on each side. They dropped them eventually because they cost $25,000 a day, and they wouldn't pay the money anymore.
Wow.
Ray Bowman, right? Ray Bowman was our teleprompter guy. He was always there. But I never used him. But they used to use him for phone calls. Like sometimes you'd have to pick up the other person's line off the prompter, where the stage manager would read you the line.
Yeah.
They'd say, you want the stage manager to read it, or you want to read it.
But I hear some actors even now got teleprompters on other shows.
Not on GH.
On other shows.
Oh, do
Well,
they?
it could be well, maybe cue cards too. Some of them use
Yeah,
cue
I've heard some big movie stars, can't learn their lines because film you shoot what
Yeah, it's
8 a
tough.
day.
Yeah.
If they gotta learn 10 lines, that's too much. So they write them, wherever, like on their hand, on their
Yeah, yeah.
magazine. Or
I've tried that.
When I lived, the coffee tables were all hollow. So, when you're young, you can see nobody wears glasses. So very few wear glasses when you're like 20. So they'd lay the pages down
Oh yeah.
under the table.
Oh, yeah.
So just in case
Yeah.
you went up on a line, you could.
Yeah.
You could
And there's a technique to that.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando did.
Well,
that's what I hear. He did it
yeah.
for years.
Maurice, I was doing a scene with Tony Geary, and I started from behind him, and I said, Tony, I got this big speech. Do you mind if I tape it to your back, and then I'll read it so I put the page here, and I'm like, all right, Luke, blah, 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 blah. And then I cross around him. As I cross around him, I pull the page off his back and crumple it up so that they couldn't be seen. And we went out with the scene.
Wow.
And he said, I didn't ask him to tape it on his forehead, but
that's what Brando. Yeah.
Brando said, could you?
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
So we all
People
did
do what they have to
versions.
do.
Yes, to get the speech out, that's written, wordy, any way you can is what I say.
Yeah.
Any way you can.
I want to know something.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your first audition, Jackie. For General Hospital.
My first. I never auditioned for GH. They just offered me the role.
Oh.
Because I was on One Life to Live. Okay, so my first audition. I'll tell you my first audition story. I had one good audition my whole life. I've never auditioned for anything. I've been offered everything I've ever done.
Really?
But my first audition was for Ryan's Hope. In those days in New York, there's no cell phones. There's no script. You had to drive over. There's no fax machines. You had to drive over. You got sides for people who don't know, which meant the first time you saw the scene was 2 minutes before you were walking in the room.
Right.
So thank God I had a really good memory, like Gina had a photographic memory. So I read my sides. I got to read them like one time and then go in the office, and it was a monologue. It was for part called Renee Zabo on Ryan's Hope. It was like a page and a half, a monologue. And I go in the office, and in those days, there's no camera or anything. You're just in the producer's office. He's at his big brown wood desk.
Yeah.
And on the other side, he says, sit down. Are you ready? Yeah. And I start with my monologue, and I think it's going well. I'm through halfway down the first page. The tears are flowing. It was very emotional. His phone rings.
Oh.
He answered the phone. So I said to myself, I guess it wasn't going as well as I thought. Okay. So I go out on the street, a phone booth in those days, I put my 25 cents in, and I call my agent, who was Kaplan Veit, Gloria Dolan, and I say, I thought it was going well, but he answered the phone, so I guess I didn't get it. She said, no, actually, he just called. He answered the phone because he already knew you got the role. He offered you the part, and he didn't need to see anymore. But she said, but go on over to One Life to Live, because they're looking for something over there. I'd done an under 5 on One Life to Live like the week before, and they're looking for something, and they want to talk to you over there. So anyway, I got offered a part on One Life to Live and the Ryan's Hope at the same time, and I had to decide which one to take. So I said to my agent, well, which part should I take? I don't know. All these decisions. She said, well, One Life to Live is offering you $25 a show more than.
And at that time, that was pretty.
At that time, you 3 a week. That was $75 a week. That was a lot of money in those days. I mean, still a lot of money. But in those days, it was a lot of money. For a young kid who never saw TV. I had done one show on Edge of Night, as a day player with Dixie Carter and Tony Craig. That was my only on TV experience. So that was it. So I took the One Life to Live part, and then had to do my first. I had my first few days on the show were 10-page scenes. In those days, scenes were in bed with Jameson Parker, with nothing but like a camisole on and a pair of underpants, because we had to be in bed together, and I was so nervous.
Oh man!
And Doris Quinlan, whom I adore, was the producer, the executive producer, and I went into her office and I went, I'm so nervous. I don't know if this is going to work for me. I feel like I'm going to throw up before we have to tape. It's
And in those days, it was the same way. You're in your under.
live on tape.
Do you have like little things over your breast?
Yeah, it had like a camisole. on
Sorry,
it.
Ken.
They
I
would
don't
have
mean to.
No, but they would pull down the
Oh yeah, that pull down
the
that.
end for the sheet shot. They pulled down the sheet with a bare back to make it look like you had nothing.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But and I adore Jameson. We became friends. We took karate lessons together and did all that later when I got to know him. But to start to be a beginning actress,
Wow.
10-page scenes in bed, with practically no clothes on, it was like jumping off the cliff.
Yeah, that's a.
So, but I loved it. I mean, obviously it worked out. I went back to her and said, I don't know if I'm just going to work. She said, just try it for a month. Just, if it doesn't work, I'll let you go. We'll replace you, whatever. She said, but you're going to be fine. And I was.
How about you, Ken?
What about me?
Your first? You didn't audition for General Hospital either?
Actually, I didn't.
Watch the.
Oh, jeez. I did come in and I met the producer Tom Donovan. There was no actual scene to read. There was no real audition. He just kind of talked to me, and and at the time,
Oh, so you didn't read us from a script? Nothing,
No.
just talk.
no,
It's a meeting.
The whole Scotty character's been completely invented by me.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah, there
Ken.
was no script. There really was.
Come on,
And
Ken.
Tom Donovan was the producer at the time, and they were talking about there's a character that was on the show once. He was a kid, and he's the son of the town lawyer, and we're gonna want to bring him back, grown up at your age, and would you be interested?
Wait, time out, Ken. 1 second, just 1 second. How long? How long had GH been on? When you were
GH was.
We've been on what, 45,
Yes,
46
45
years.
That's why we're here for the 45th
45.
anniversary.
Okay.
45th anniversary
Sharing
of
with Maurice, who's got
45.
about 35 under his belt.
No,
Yeah, but we
29.
started at
29.
25.
No, but when you came and met with this, how long had GH been on?
So,
GH started in 63. So I met in
Okay.
1977. So let's do some mathematics.
Yeah.
No, please don't, because
So-
I'm bad at math.
All right. But at the time, as a young actor, and you're making a little dent in the town, you got some guest star spots, you've been under contract. You're like, well, why do I want to do a soap? Who wanted to do a soap? We all wanted to be movie stars.
yes.
We wanted to go into the thing. So soaps were, not to say that they were, but my acting coach, and Jackie studied with her as well, and some different. We did a play that she directed, Lillian Chauvin. She had been on a soap, and she told me that you will never get a better training, and you think that you're doing well, but you do a couple of years on a soap, and you'll be, you can't get a better education on camera, working every day, new material. You're not, sitting around spending 6 weeks rehearsing a play that you're going to do the same play every night. You're doing a soap. It's every day. It's a new scene, new stuff.
Right.
She thrived on giving us, even an acting class. There was no sitting around spending 6 weeks with your acting partner we'd like to put our scene up now. I know it's been 2 months, but
no, yeah. That's really
in our acting class, we just got up. You had to do it. You just got on your feet and did it,
Right.
which is what a soap is. There's no thinking anymore. Even today, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like a fighter. You better go into that ring and start swinging. Otherwise, you're going to get knocked out.
Yes.
So when that bell rings, when we get the countdown, which is ding, ding, go in
Yes.
acting.
Yes. Ken, can we go back to the meeting, please? I need to know. Okay. I need to know how you got the job from that meeting.
I'll tell you, the guy he said, we're going to do 2 shows. It was August 2nd and August 4th. They booked me. That's why I remember it. And I came on, and I was supposed to be dragged out of Greenwich Village. And so I said, okay, what do we think? Should we bring this young Scotty character on for the great Peter Hansen? And so there was I did the 2 shows, and I was, it was live, and it was all that stuff. And I thought, this is really fun. I'd love to do this. A couple of weeks went by, and I'm thinking, oh, Christ, this is not going to. So then they finally, 2 or 3 weeks in, my agent calls and says, yeah, they really want you. They're going to get a whole big story. And, so it's a
Scotty was
3-year contract and, blah, blah, blah. And so we were in.
But Jackie, but you had been on from the get-go, from the beginning, right?
Of
General Hospital.
no.
Oh, how many years since it started did you come on?
After me.
After him,
6
months
months
after
after
him.
me.
So who was on before you guys then?
Jeannie.
Jeannie was
Jeannie
on
was there for about 6 months
6
before
months
me,
before.
then me,
Then him.
then
I came
him,
on in December.
then Leslie Charleston,
Came on in December.
and eventually, I think.
Oh man, this is cool.
But I wanted to be on a. So I was sitting in a bagel nosh with Murray, my boyfriend became my husband, and said, "I want to be on a soap opera." And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "In those days, they were half an hour long. I thought you only worked half an
Oh,
hour.
right, right.
I thought you go in, you shoot your show, you're done. Everything's
Yeah.
live, right?" So,
Wow.
no clue.
But
Yeah.
Jackie was involved with Murray the K, who was a great
Who-
DJ. The Murray the K and the Swingin' Soirees. He was on WNBC in New York, right? And
Yeah, what's up with this Murray the K? I was gonna get into that, but now Ken had to bring it up.
He was like considered the fifth Beatle.
The Beatles. Did he ever talk to you about like Paul McCartney or anybody, like what he felt, like how cool they were?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that's like gold. That's like wow, that's
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
Who did he feel was like Paul McCartney, George Harrison, Ringo, or John Lennon? Who was like the most important, or the one that was it John Lennon or Paul McCartney? Because that's always the argument,
Well,
isn't
I
it?
could answer that for Jay because I watch a lot of clips on Murray did, and Murray was talking.
Okay.
I watched him a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about the decision between John and Peter about the way they wrote, and they decided. I saw Murray was telling the story about how they wrote, and they decided they're not on the same wave, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. Well, the women, I think we knew them. I mean, I got to meet all the Beatles.
No.
And John and Yoko lived 2 blocks from us, on 72nd Street, the Dakota in New York. So yeah. So Murray, he was a disc jockey. He knew them. He liked them all. Obviously,
Yeah.
they were all so successful. The wives kind of broke up the Beatles.
Yeah.
That was the main thing that just all of a sudden they went different directions. I'm not saying the wives deliberately did it, but they went different directions, and the wives supported the creativity of their
Yeah.
husbands. And at that point, they had all made so much money. They were so successful. They could pick and choose and do anything. They didn't have to work for money anymore, and so they just got interested in meditation, spiritual things.
That's right. Yeah.
Whatever was going on.
Yeah.
It was crazy compared to what it was, and they could. So that's what they did.
What was your impression when you met them of John, or
In our relationship, Murray, I was like the grown up and he was like the kid. He was a lot older than me. But I was always the more serious one, and he was like the disc jockey out
Yeah.
there going and dancing. And
hey, how are you?
And he was like so much fun, and he was really brilliant, smart. He produced a lot of shows, and he was on the President's Council of Drug Abuse, so we got to meet a lot of interesting people. But Murray was fun, but he was also a really good businessman. I think a lot of people didn't know that about him.
Wow.
That he's a producer. Producers have to make things happen.
Yeah.
So life was wonderful with him. I mean, we had a really nice life together, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And when we first got together, I was a dancer a million years ago when I was young, and I was working in South America, and I came back to the States and auditioned for the State for Music Festival and was hired to be one of his dancers. He hired me 3 girls, a redhead, blonde, and a brunette. I was the redhead, and I was 17 years old at the time, and that's how I met Murray. I worked for him. And then, we got to know each other, and he had some discos. He was special consultant to some discos in New York, so I used to hire the dancers, do some of the choreography, do some of the stuff. I mean, we had a great life.
And you were Playboy Bunny?
I was a Playboy Bunny. I worked for Hugh Hefner for 2.5 years.
You do that thing, the thing?
Yeah. It paid for I was pre-med in college at the time, and it paid for my school, and I loved working. I was the youngest bunny they ever hired.
Are you
I
serious?
turned 18 and got hired. Yeah.
And how long do you do that for?
About 2.5 years. I worked in the New York club.
Were those old bunnies mean to you? Who's this young bunny coming
Barbie
in here?
Benton's still my friend. Barbie was.
I love Barbie.
I love Barbie too. So yes, she was dating Hugh Hefner at the time, and
What?
come into the club, and she's like 3 years older or 4 years older than me. So when you're 18, somebody's like 21, you're like, oh. And Barbie would come in and we'd be like, "What's she wearing? What's she doing? Where are they going?" But I love that job. It was a fun job.
What did you
because,
get? You just had to walk around and
Oh no, I did a lot of publicity for them.
oh,
He started We Magazine, Playboy Movie Theater, Great Gorge. I was third base on the softball team. I promoted his record company in Rio de Janeiro. I
oh,
traveled the kind of the world working for Hugh Hefner. So I learned how to do TV shows and a lot of media training with him. In addition, yes, I worked.
and how was he? He was
It was great. He was my boss.
yeah.
There was, when you're a bunny, you don't date the card member. There was no
Yeah, that
hanky-panky.
right.
It was never. It was very worked hard. We made a lot of money in those days. It was fun.
And you were also a bunny, weren't you?
I was at Chippendale.
Oh, a Chippendale,
With
yeah.
Steve Bond.
Yes. No. We.
And how was that, Ken, when you were dancing?
I did a Chippendale's calendar once. Yeah, I did.
I'd like to see that. Do you still have a copy of that?
Yeah, I just found it. I found the other day.
Can I?
It was no. Well, it was. Yeah, you can see it.
I wanna
It
see
was not that risque. It was shirtless, but
You had Speedos, right?
no speedos. Some actors were in speedos, but it was just 12 soap opera actors that were, hot at the time. This was like in the
Well, yeah.
80s.
Fine, but I want to talk about the heyday, and then we'll get into storyline. But the heyday that I wasn't involved in at all, that I love hearing about.
Well, there's
Hold on, Ken, I'm not done.
okay.
That period, I don't even, forget, I'm bad with dates. When General Hospital was as big as any TV show on TV, I want to hear about what that fame is like. Just walking to a restaurant, getting, whatever you want to talk about. I want to talk about the drugs. You don't have to, but I want to. And just about that period, how freaking crazy it must have been. Luke and Laura, Scotty, Bobby, who else? I don't know. Tell me something.
It was the four of us that caused all the
John Stamos,
No,
was
he
that?
hadn't come in yet.
He wasn't there yet. No.
But I want to get to that little era too.
Okay.
I know he's your friend.
Yeah.
So, but okay, am I done? We done with that monologue? Okay. Let me get a drink first because I can't wait to hear this stuff. Now, that period, how was it?
Well, the period I would tell you is, and Jackie knows that. I think I was one time had gone to Fort Lauderdale with Jeannie. We were down there at the same time, and we had been doing the show for maybe a year or so. I don't even know, and it was just a soap opera. We didn't know anything, and we went to a restaurant. We were sitting at the restaurant, and the waitress came up and said, "There's a couple people that like to say hello to you guys," and we said, "Oh, okay," and we looked over, and there was a line of people all the way downstairs and out the door and down the block.
No, Ken.
I swear to you. And I turned to Jeannie. She was sitting with me, and I said, "Jeannie, I think we might be onto something, and maybe we'll get a free meal too." But
it was that long of a line.
We realized that, wow, people are watching this show, and it was because, Maurice, you got to understand that Gloria Monty had that edict. If you don't fix this
What does
show,
edict mean?
an edict that they're going to cancel General Hospital. They gave her the show.
Okay.
And she had like 6 months, and she immediately threw the ball to a younger direction. She threw it to me and Jeannie. She brought Jackie on and said, well, we've got this lovesick fool. We got the girl from the wrong side of the tracks who wants the guy, and then the girl's in the way. So it's a perfect triangle, the three of us.
Right.
That started all of the, she started manipulating, scheming. What you would tell what you did. You did everything.
Yeah, everything. Well, I had full-time FBI bodyguards on me for over a year.
Wow.
2 and 2 at each time, 2 shifts a day. And they park outside. I lived in Beverly Hills up on Coldwater Canyon. They would sit in the car outside. They'd come in my house, outside the car, guard the house. I was in a restaurant. We'd go with Ken. They'd walk into the ladies' room with me. If it was men on the shift, they'd stand right outside the door because death threats. Bobby was a naughty, bad girl in those days. I was
Oh,
like,
you were
death
really
threats
bad
were
because I
bad.
remember watching.
Yeah, and so in those
She was
days,
trying to break up that couple,
trying to
that
break up
Scotty
Scotty
Laura
and Laura.
couple.
So we go on his motorcycle.
Wow.
We lost the FBI guard, and Gloria called us in and said, "Oh my God, you know you can't."
No, I said to Jackie, I said, I know you got this. I took her on my motorcycle. I said, let's go to lunch. And she says, well, I got the FBI detail. I say, let's see how good they are.
And he,
So we shook them.
But wait a minute. What?
We-
Just because you were bad on the show?
She had a lot of death
Death
threats.
It was, and they were sending them through U.S. Postal Service, which is a federal offense. If you threaten somebody on a death threat through the U.S. mail, that's a federal offense. So that's what.
But that doesn't happen now on soaps.
Well,
that I don't know,
could
but it
get-
did.
I had a stalker, but nothing like the FBI.
I had one too, like just about maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually Ellen DeGeneres had a stalker.
Oh, that's
We
right.
were both living in Malibu, and my friend and publicist Cynthia Snyder, who had for years called me and said, "So I just got a call from the sheriffs in Malibu. Ellen DeGeneres has a stalker. They can't do anything, but when they
Yeah,
he's found-
exactly.
picked him up, he had a picture of you in his wallet.
Yeah.
So you're next. So just be very careful when you're going out to your car because he was targeting you next.
But
So
that's the problem with these stalkers. Because I had a bad one too, and she's in whatever. I don't get it too much into it, but the guy told me the detective and the DA. He said, I said, so you weren't, nothing was going to be done. He goes, yeah, we can't do anything unless they kill you or they hurt you.
they can't do it.
What the? How does that
They're
work?
allowed to follow you. They're allowed to take
Yes.
pictures of you. They're allowed to
Yeah.
stand outside your car. You know, yeah. They used to people used to park outside the gate at GH and follow us home.
We had
To park the
fans.
gate.
We had
fans, serious fans.
we had
Like, follow-
15,
move
20,
them.
30 fans at the gate.
I had a
That's us
fans
during the day.
Corvette. Yeah, and they would follow literally
just
follow
be out
move
there
them.
And this was 19 what?
Late 70s.
Late 70s, and the ratings were what? Like
80, 81.
They went from number 16 to number 1 between 1978 and 79. 1 year.
We did a
wait a minute, kid.
You could go.
Ken,
shot
wait a
like
minute.
rocket. It went really fast.
It's like a bullet, man. It's almost 14
What do you- what-
Nielsen points. That'd be like, you know what a Nielsen?
Yeah, tell
We had
me.
10 million people a week.
A
watching
point is
GH.
probably 10 million. We picked up 1 million.
That's why we
they
had
just
such
kept
high
picking up.
ITVQs. That's why we're still on.
Right. Wow.
We used to get thrown. I had a network offer me $250,000 just not to re-sign my GH contract. Didn't even have to do anything. Just not sign it. Sign for a year. And you can.
How long did
Tristan,
that-
Last time you talked to Tristan, we were in Brooklyn one time in this. I don't know. Joyce Becker's
Yeah.
analogy.
Joyce Becker.
To look up for the person. You know, we went to the White House. We did
Yeah.
tours, all that stuff, and we're in. I think it was Brooklyn, New York, and literally the audience was swaying. They had they hauled us off the stage. We were on stage for like 3 minutes, and the security said, "Out of here. We're not doing this. This is too dangerous." And I remember you were there. Tristan was there. I was there. It was like 5 or 6 of us. I mean, it was crazy in those days.